Substantially growing a business, like a law firm, is really hard. My today's guest, Keith Dyer of LEXGRO, has done it multiple times with numerous law firms, and not meager growth of 5, 10, 15, 20% per year. He has helped clients achieve such astonishing results as quadrupling their already sizable revenue in 3 years flat. One of his clients that he talks about this in this episode went from $3 million to $12 million in under 3 years. Listen to this episode, hear his story and how he does this for his clients, and get inspired. Get inspired to pick up a phone and call him and set a time to actually have a conversation about this and see how he can help you. I know this sounds like a commercial, I get it, but it is a commercial. This is a really smart individual who has done it numerous times and can probably help you achieve the results that you've been yearning for years. Enjoy the episode. Hi there. I have a small but really meaningful favor to ask you. I watch at the stats on our YouTube channel and Spotify channel, wherever most people listen and watch our podcast, and I see that over 80% of everybody who listens to it regularly is not a subscriber. I'm asking you to subscribe to this channel, and the reason for that is my mission and the mission of my team is to help as many small law firm owners to learn how to transform their law firms into better businesses, and so they in turn enjoy better lives. When you hit subscribe button, you tell these platforms that this is content worth listening, worth viewing, and they in turn will show it to many other small law firm owners and hopefully help me fulfill our mission of helping them create a better business and enjoy better lives. So would you please do me this favor? It would mean the world to me, and hit the subscribe button. And my promise to you is that I will continue to work hard at creating good content with practical ideas that help you and your teams grow better law firms. Thank you. Welcome to another episode of Grow Law Podcast. I have a great guest with me here today, Keith Dyer of LEXGRO. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sasha, for having me here. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to talking.
Yeah. As you know, I love talking about growth ideas, practical growth ideas for law firms. I know that you've been a fractional CMO for many law firms for a number of years now and have produced some outrageously atypical results. So share some insights. In 2025, as we're recording this about the middle of the year, what works for law firms to grow and grow fast? What doesn't work? Mistakes to avoid? And what's coming in the future? Because I'm sure that you have a lot of insights as to all the changes that are happening due to the AI.
Yeah. What's working now is I think people get caught up, and this is going to be maybe atypical advice, but they get caught up in what's coming up and they focus too much instead of realizing that the world is not quite there yet, and that they ignore things like branding and how important it is to brand your firm. And branding doesn't mean always using digital marketing. Digital marketing is absolutely the fundamental piece that you need to begin with. You need to be found, but you've also got to build your brand so that people think of you before they ever go to Google to search for you or to search for a personal injury lawyer or an immigration lawyer or whatever. So the goal would be to make sure that you've got your digital marketing completely covered, but then also to incorporate the branding aspects that you need to in order to grow. That's what's working for me. It's old-fashioned advice, but it's still applicable because people still watch TV, they still listen to radio. The way they do those things are different, and so you have to adapt to the way that they do those things, but they still do them. I still get a lot of mileage out of radio. People think that it's like this dead medium, and they're dead wrong. It's still very, very much alive. So you'll notice too, I'm sure you've noticed this, Sasha, with your clients, whenever you're running television or radio or other types of campaigns, it drives traffic to the website as well. It will increase the traffic to the site. But it also just brands you so that, again, like I said, whenever someone needs an attorney, they can go and they can think of that person before they ever go to Google.
So you mentioned that you're working for, as a fractional CMO, you're working for a friend's law firm. They do PI. You help them grow from 3 million to what is now 12 million in under 3 years. How did you accomplish such outrageous results in such a short time span?
Okay, well, I'm going to start off with an answer that may not be popular.
Do it. I love controversial ideas.
One, investment. You have
How
to
much?
invest money into your marketing,
Yeah.
get the cases that you want. If you invest and you track your cost per acquisition and you're smart about the way that you're choosing your channels and how much you're allocating within your budget, then you're going to have growth.
What percentage of revenue are you investing into his growth?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
What percentage of revenue are you investing into growing that law firm?
Minimum 20% up to
Next.
30%.
Got it. Solid. So let's call it 25%.
25 is pretty healthy.
Yep.
As long as you can support the caseload coming in internally to be able to process cases and give a positive experience for the clients.
Yep. And where's the firm based out of?
It's based out of North Carolina. We have
Got it.
multiple offices across the state in Wilmington, Charlotte, and a couple other cities.
Yep. The reason, ladies and gentlemen, why I asked that question is pay attention. This is not Miami. This is not an overheated market for PI attorneys, but it is a competitive market. And a law firm owner who really wants to grow fast, and the results are there already, invest 25% of gross revenue. So out of 3 million, he was investing like 750,000 into growth. And for every additional million, he added another 250,000 in client acquisition. This is excellent. Gold. Absolute gold. Okay. And then?
Yeah, and then I think you've got to understand that as the firm grows, your allocation of marketing changes. So the bottom line is that as the firm grows, you spend more on branding.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you spend less on digital. You're still spending more on digital. The percentage of your budget just goes more to branding. And so the goal is that it's like this. I drive to work every day. I hear your commercials. I see your commercials on TV. I see your billboards. I become injured. I remember you because I've been branded. I've purchased a franchise in the mind, but I don't remember your phone number. I don't know how to contact you. So what am I going to do? I'm going to Google you, right?
That's it. Yep.
I'm going to search for you. And this is where if you ignore digital marketing, and I've made this mistake, trying to go into new markets where I didn't have a digital footprint. This is where your traffic gets hijacked. You're driving them to search for you, but then when they search for you, you don't come up like you should. Someone else does, and they click through their ad instead. So the key is to have everything covered.
Yep.
And so the sum of the parts does not equal the whole. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. You've got to have top-notch branding. You've got to have top-notch digital so that everything is working together and you're taking up as much real estate as you can in the digital. You've got great reviews. It's a never-ending process. It's not an event. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens because of best practices, good people, and understanding the basics. It's kind of like I kind of like liking it. I'm a football fan, American football. I like international football as well. But if you do the basics better than everybody else, then you're probably going to be successful, right? Or you're at least you're going to make the playoffs.
100%. It reminds me of the great late coach John Wooden, who took UCLA basketball team to 10 championships.
Oh yeah,
and every season he would start with his seasoned players, teaching them how to tie their shoes.
right.
Every season, it's in his books. He would say, like, you have to start with the fundamentals. You have to do the fundamentals right, because if you're a great player, but your shoes aren't tied the right way, you're going to develop blisters, and that will affect your game.
So I love this analogy, and I find a lot of law firms that shoes are untied and they're chasing shiny objects.
Yeah.
And so what happens when your shoes are untied and you chase shiny objects? You trip and fall.
Yeah.
And you become injured financially.
Yeah. I also find it interesting. This is not the first time that I hear that an investment of 25% of gross revenue should be made if you want to grow aggressively. Most law firms, as professional service organizations, grow at a rate of about 4% a year. If you're growing 25% a year, that's really good. You're going to double every 3 years. But your friend there quadrupled in less than 3 years. This
Yeah.
is what it takes. 25% of your revenue. It's a huge commitment. You're not buying yourself Ferraris and Lamborghinis, no yachts, because you're
No,
investing it into that growth.
you're exactly right about that. And you're also uh, going to have to deal with the inevitable operational challenges that come from that kind of growth.
Hmm.
The people, the processes, the procedures, the people become overwhelmed if you're not careful. And so you've got to invest in the internal structure as well as the external structure. So you're definitely not buying Lamborghinis. What you're doing is you're taking whatever investment you're able to bring together, whether you borrow it or you have it in cash flow, however you do it, you're taking it and you're instead of taking that money, or let's say you win a big case, like a really big one, instead of you taking that money and doing whatever with it, you're reinvesting it back into the business so that you grow a business that's making 5 or 10 or 15 million a year instead of you just making 5 million or bringing 5 million in. Does that make sense? And so if you're lucky enough to have a large case, then you have to be disciplined enough to put that kind of money back into it. If you're not a PI firm, then you're going to have to rely. The good news is your cash flow is a lot better, but you're not going to get any giant cases like that probably. So you're going to have to grow your firm from marketing it and do it through the cash flow and sort of the old fashioned way, which is also great. And of course, you can always borrow money.
Most people, unlike our mutual friend, Ken Hardison,
Hmm.
are too sheepish to borrow money for growth. Aggressive entrepreneurs are not shying away from borrowing money for growth. Most law firm owners feel very comfortable borrowing $350,000 to get their education, but are very uncomfortable supporting that investment with additional investment into actually growing and getting a great return on that investment. It's a little bit of a conundrum. I also want to note something. You said something incredibly important. If you start growing quickly, your systems and your people will be challenged. But that should not stop you from looking for that aggressive growth, because there are always people who can help you navigate those challenges.
Absolutely.
You got to bring in people who have been there and done that, from operations standpoint, HR standpoint, intake standpoint. So they're like, "Well, yes, I've been there. I've seen a law firm go from 1 million to 10 million over a course of 3 years. Here's what's going to happen next, and here's how we make sure that it's going to be a smooth sail." Super important, but easy to do if you think about it the right way.
I agree with you, and you just said something important. You've got to have the right people on the bus and people that
Oh,
you can trust and that have a
everything.
good track record. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to grow a law firm and grow any business. I mean, mine's no different. Yours isn't either, right? We have to have our own coaches and our own
Yep.
things. So you have to invest in those things. I think that the interesting thing to me is that why people are hesitant to borrow money to invest, because that's what they do when they make any investment usually, right? They're somewhere they're getting money and investing it to make more. If you're going to borrow money, why not invest it in yourself? What greater return could you have than at least you have the control of being able to create your own destiny?
100%.
That's how I see.
Most people just don't think about it that way.
Yeah, I can
They
see
don't.
that.
Because
Sure.
it's fear.
It's ingrained in us not to be in debt. I had a business partner a long time ago. I maintained my business very well for many years, and he's like, Keith, I noticed that you're really stable in your business and everything. Why aren't you growing more? And he was a good friend. We were business partners in another business, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to. I need some more capital to grow, and I don't really want to. And he was the CEO of a large textile company, and he goes, Keith, borrowing money is a key and vital piece to any healthy business. And I was like, wow. He goes, even the biggest corporations in the world have large credit lines with banks that they use. And that really opened my eyes up. And then I got a line of credit and I kept it for a couple of years. I put some money on it. I
Yep.
got more comfortable with that. You
Yeah.
know, there's some great loan options too. And I have a platform that I educate law firms on how to grow, and we have an entire section on lending and the options that they have out there. And there's tons of options of people there's banks and many banks out there that specialize specifically in loaning money to law firms. So there's some
Yes.
good opportunities.
Great points. I love to invest into growth. If you don't have the cash, borrow it. If you do it right. But what gets in the way is one of my favorite acronyms, FOD: fear, uncertainty, doubt. What if it doesn't work? I'm like, well, you went to law school, and between undergrad and law school, you spent in today's dollars, $25, 300 plus $1,000.
And why not go ahead and hire the right coaches and the right people,
Yeah,
factor that into your business model. And so you'll make sure that it doesn't happen. We know that the demand for the legal services is out there. I think it's amazing. If you may see this too, but I think it's amazing when you get past the PI firms, they're much more used to this kind of discussion. When you get to the other types of law firms, a lot of them are not in this mindset, and they have missing such a tremendous opportunity in my mind. Now there are many that are, but I mean, you could become the dominant family law firm in your market if you wanted to, if you had the right plan.
yeah.
I don't see that in this market though. I see lots of opportunities for law firms like that. If you're a family law firm or immigration law firm, whatever, if you really sunk more money into the marketing and tried to buy a franchise of the public's mind, you could really dominate your market. And I think PI is still tremendous, got tremendous opportunities. It's just a little bit different of a game, right? I mean, you got to be able to go ahead and find your place in that practice area.
So the way that I think about law, if I was ever to get into the business, which I'm not a lawyer, I cannot do that today unless I'm in Arizona. But if I did, it would be either PI or family law.
Hmm.
Just as a business minded person, not thinking about, oh, I want to do this or I want to do that. Like, where is the money?
Yeah,
In a big way, it's in those two practice areas.
those two practice areas are very lucrative. I will tell you that estate planning is also lucrative, and I will tell you immigration is also extremely lucrative. If you're in the right place at the right business model, you can clean up in both of those. I've known two firms that are multi-million dollar practices.
100%. But I think that estate planning, don't hate me for the message if you're an estate planning attorney. I think that that segment is heading into some serious headwind. AI is going to beat you guys up in a
Yeah.
big bad way,
Hmm.
like in a big bad way. I wouldn't be shocked if 10 years from now, by 2035, there would be 10-15% of attorneys remaining of what it is today, remaining in that game. Anything
Yeah.
that's very prescriptive, where there is no litigation, it's question and answer, question and answer, question and answer. Here's a prescription, here's a document.
Yeah.
You're ripe for that disruption. You're
Yeah.
absolutely ripe for that disruption.
I
I'm
can
sorry
see
to say
that.
that, but it's going to happen.
I can see that, but I could also see the need for a human touch in some of it,
Sure,
with elder law, things like that, and trying to make sure people are taken care of. Uh,
sure.
I don't
It's
think
just it's
people,
just going to be like it's here today, and it's going to be about yay small 10
yeah,
years from now. For those of you who are not watching but listen to this, I know there are a lot more of you listening and watching this, and I appreciate you listening to this. I'm showing like there's a much bigger pie today than there will be for actual human lawyers 10 years from now. It's bound to happen. Same thing is going to happen in the field of medicine.
yeah,
Same thing is going to happen to accounting. Wherever there is question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, here's a prescription, it's going to
yeah.
happen.
Well, I don't think any of us are immune to it.
We're not. It's going to happen to so many. And this is why years ago I started saying, without thinking about AI, but I've lived through, so I'm in my late 40s. I've lived through a few recessions, and including major ones. It's much easier to lose your 50% when you're a $10 million company than when you're a $5 million company.
Yeah,
If you're the owner of a $10 million law firm and it shrinks 50% to 5 million, your lifestyle arguably is not going to change. But if you go from 5 million to 2.5 million, your lifestyle is going to change.
sure, without a doubt.
It's a world of, I've been there, I've done it in a different business. I know exactly how it plays out. So I'm like, grow as big as you can before there's a tsunami that hits your field. It's going to
Yeah,
happen. Either a recession like 2008, 9, 10, 11, the legal world was rocked. by the recession, just absolutely rocked. And now with AI, same thing may happen, just comes at you from a different angle. So I always think about like grow as big as you can. There will be PE firms, private equity firms rolling into this industry. They will be buying law firms. It's going to happen. Not today. Well, today in Arizona, tomorrow in Colorado, and 5 years from now, who knows where else. But that someday it's going to happen. And just get as big as you can so that either you're going to survive the AI tsunami or you're going to become a great target for acquisition by PE companies so you can comfortably retire at whatever age you decide to dispose of your law
Yeah,
firm.
I don't disagree with that. But the timeline is the question mark, like how long it takes, right?
I think that I think the speed of change as far as AI goes is doubling every 7 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. It's something like astonishing.
The more it is, it's the fastest growing technology ever, and
Yeah,
the more it grows, the faster it grows.
yeah.
So
I know people who have gone the route of doing a estate plan using ChatGPT.
yeah,
They were stuck at the very end, and then they would go to like willandtrust.com, which is also AI based thing, and for $300 they just got it completed.
yeah,
That's why I would not make a bet on estate planning. Guys, I'm so sorry. If you're an estate planning attorney, you hear this, please take my advice. Start doing some divorces. Yes, it's stressful as hell. I get it. You may not want to do that. I get it. But there is money there, and it's hard to imagine where two arguing, soon to be former spouses, go to ChatGPT and like just handle this shit for me. That is just unlikely to happen.
yeah. I agree. Maybe there'll be less employees and still a certain amount of attorneys because they can automate a lot
Yeah,
of it.
of course.
People still want the attorneys to do, you
Yeah,
know, the personal work. But you know, like I said, none of us are going to be immune to this. We just gotta. We can't really do anything about it except to adopt it and try our best to go with it.
100%. My partner and I, my business partner and I, we think about this daily. We meet with very smart advisors, those who operate very large corporations, but also advise smaller companies. And we talk about all the time. Like at least once a month, there's a meeting where we talk about, like, hey, what's going to happen to this industry? Like, how do we prepare for this? So, for example, one of the things that we decided last year was that we're going to crack the code of ChatGPT and Google's Gemini and Perplexity. And how do they
Yeah,
produce search results?
I noticed that on your website.
We cracked the code. As of end of Q1 this year, so as of 4 months ago, give or take, we're recording this in July of 2025. We have performed thousands of experiments, and we're like, oh, this is how it generates informational result. This is how it generates commercial result. Meaning, if someone looks for information, ChatGPT assembles this information and produces it in this way. And if somebody is looking for commercial result, meaning like, help me find an attorney, this is how ChatGPT comes up with that result. It just took a few thousand experiments, 6 months, 6 months of experimentation, and we're like, got it. So this is how you do what's now referred to as GEO,
Yeah,
generative engine optimization. So
yeah, I love that.
yeah, pretty scientific. But let's go back to your friend's example and other clients who you have. I love that you said that it's never one thing; it's many things working together. It's like an orchestra playing a symphony, makes it into a beautiful outcome. Aside from, you said you have to cover everything digital, which makes perfect sense. And then you started talking about like traditional. Let's imagine that we're running a family law firm where average case value is not 50 grand as it would be for many PI law firms. But let's say it's low, it's like 15 grand. How would you do it for a family law firm?
That's a very good question. And what I would do is you don't have to have the same kind of marketing that a PI firm has. You can become much more targeted and be less expensive so that you can afford it, right? So let's say if you're a family law firm, you are operating in a metro where you know that you want higher net worth clients because their divorces are a lot more expensive, their child custody cases are a lot more complex. So instead of blanketing the entire metro with billboards like you might do if you were a PI firm, you would place your billboards strategically in the neighborhoods that are the higher net worth neighborhoods. You would choose radio stations and DJs or people that you could work with as influencers to work to actually market the firm to higher net worth people, right? And so your marketing is smaller. What I would challenge most firms to think about is don't take a small budget and spread it too wide.
Yeah.
Smaller budget and dominate something directly hits your
Yeah.
demographic right between the eyes over and over and over again with lots of repetition.
Yeah.
That's the key. So, does that answer your question? I would
It does.
focus things down because these other practice areas have a much more much more usually detailed specific demographic. Personal injury can be anybody, right? That's why you see their marketing all over everywhere.
Sure. Yeah.
I could be in a wreck. My maid could be in a wreck. Lawyer could be in a wreck. You could be in a wreck. Anybody could have an injury case.
Yeah, divorce is a bit narrower. It's interesting. I also love it that you said that focus, do not spread your marketing budget too thin. On this podcast, I had actually a Pilma member, Greg Ward, a few months ago. He operates an $85 million law firm. And I asked him, how did you get that growth going? And he said, well, his wife is a Cuban refugee, and she wanted to focus on Hispanic community. And she said, he told me that they picked one radio station, Spanish language radio station, and they went all in. So 3 months, zero response. Fourth month, I think they signed like 2 or 3 cases, and they were just hooked. And he is like, we got to the point where we knew exactly what our case acquisition cost would be,
Yep.
how many cases we can expect any given month, any given quarter, and any given year with some seasonality. He's like, and at some point, we knew that by adding another dollar to the advertising budget on that station produced 0 additional cases. And that's when we went to the next station, and the next station, and the next station.
That's right. And you can only learn that. And here's what firms do not want to hear and what they don't want to do. They don't have the patience to give it 90 to 120 days to sink in. You aren't going to turn on a switch and it automatically happen. It's got to be consistent over a period of time. And then once you get to that point, like you said, you keep trying, keep adding and scaling until you go, oh, wait a minute, we're not seeing any more cases. That's fine. We'll keep this one. We'll put it aside. Any more money we have, let's go to the next best choice, right?
Yep.
What logically makes sense and what our parameters are to grow, meaning how much we're allocating toward marketing, how much we're allocating toward digital, traditional, what makes the most sense next to go to. Now, I would not do any of that, like I said, until you have your digital down.
Yeah, because it's all going to end up going back there.
It's all going to end up back in the digital, and it's also going to end up in the intake department. So if your intake department and your digital are working well together, that's phase 1. Phase 2 is expansion from that.
So your initial marketing budget goes into digital, establish a good foothold there, make sure that your intake is optimized, otherwise you're wasting a lot of money.
Correct.
And what's phase 2? Talk about that.
Phase 2 would be when you get past, the $2, $3, $4 million mark, maybe 5, depending on the practice area in the market. Somewhere in that range, you start to say, okay, we're not going to scale anymore through digital. We've exhausted pay-per-click. LSA is optimized if that's even applicable. All these things are out of the way now, are still going. It could still be going. And now let's look and see where we could get other. Let's try to scale everything to its maximum, and then let's see what we can do. I would start off with a 20% minimum budget on branding. And I would find, like you said, that one thing. It doesn't have to necessarily be radio or TV or billboards. It could end up being, hey, we really like sponsoring XYZ events, these 6 events throughout the year that really get our name out there and hit our demographic. Maybe that's where you put your branding money. It's all dependent. And everybody, while there is sort of a formula to all this, it is also very much market specific and who you're appealing to and how you appeal to them. So the first step might be that you go and say, okay, who are we appealing to right now? And how do we maximize appealing to them even more, right? So, whatever assets you may have as a lawyer, meaning your nationality or the community that you're in or the people that you know or whatever it might be, if you look at your current caseload and who you're appealing to, try to appeal more to them because your base is that group of people anyway. Does that make sense? Instead of trying to appeal to a whole other group.
It makes perfect sense. So let's play through that scenario. Let's say that you and I are business partners and we own a family law firm and you're in North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that we have it in Raleigh-Durham area. And we're presently at $3 million. We're rocking it with digital. Our website shows up for a plethora of search terms. We're running ads on Google. We're doing all the right things. We have content going to Facebook. And now you're like, it seems like at a certain point, we're going to max out on digital. We're not there yet, but at some point, we're going to max out. And we're like, let's come up with additional funding for what do we do for that growth specifically?
I would take a heat map and see where my cases are coming from now. I would then know the market well enough because I
You know
live
what?
here.
Let's take it just one step back. Let's make sure that people understand what the heat map is.
Yeah, so I would just go into Google and plot the addresses of the people that are working with and just come up with circles of where the most clients are coming from.
Perfect. Yeah.
I would look at that. I would pull down the demographics of the people that we're currently serving, and I would see what neighborhoods these start to line up with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would look for radio stations that cover those areas those people listen to, whether that's on streaming, whether that's on regular terrestrial radio. I would look for billboards or way to get in front of them on their way to work in the morning. I look at it like this. I call it a day in the life. Remember that song by the Beatles?
Sure. Yeah.
I wake up, I get out of bed, I drag a comb across my head. I went downstairs and drank a cup. So what are they doing from the time they wake up? Those people that you want to appeal to, what are they doing from the time they wake up until they go to bed? Are you in front of them when they're going through their social media? Are you in front of them when they're watching the news? Are you in front of them when they're driving to work listening to the news? Are they seeing you when they're driving to work on billboards? Are they listening to you while they're working? Are they listening to you on their way home and seeing your billboards on the way home? Are you in front of them when they're scrolling through their social media at dinner because everybody else is on their phone at dinner? And before they go to bed at night, are you on their streaming TV? These are all, I'm not telling you to do all of these things, but these are all the opportunities that you have in which to get in front of them, right? And so you want to be in front of them as much as you can, as often as you can, even if they don't have a case right now, because you're branding your company, you're branding your law firm.
Yeah. But what you're going to find out from knowing your demographics, like the people, your current and past customers, once you build that heat map and you know where a lot of them are coming from, what geographical area, then you look at their demographics, like what are their ages? What are their political persuasions?
Yeah.
You're going to find that when you do this type of radio advertising or TV advertising or billboards, is that a lot of people in a certain age group and certain demographics, other demographic factors, they go through divorces. So just because the guy who heard your ad or heard your content because you have now a radio show doesn't mean he's not getting divorced, but he may have a friend who confides at him with him and says like I'm going to get divorced. Go talk to this guy. I've been listening to his program just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Good stuff. It's about relationships and like what to do if a relationship does not work out after 20 years.
Right. And I would not brand myself as the family law firm.
Oh, that's interesting.
I would brand our firm by what we get the most money from and what we like doing and the kind of cases we like trying or like executing. So, I'm really, since we started our business together, Sasha, you know that I'm the divorce guy. I want high net worth divorces. And so, it's Keith and Sasha. We're the divorce guys, right? We're the team that you want behind you when you're getting divorced, because we're going to get you maximum, whatever, maximum fair value of the divorce, whatever you might come up with. Mm-hmm. But the point I'm making is that you don't want to be generic. The more specific you are to someone's problem, and the more aligned that is with what you're operationally able to produce, then you're cooking with gas.
100%. So we're two males. We'd probably want to appeal to men who are going through divorce.
Right.
And the father's rights.
Old divorce guys. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and father's rights.
Yeah.
Those two could be our two sweet spots, and that's it.
Yep.
Especially if one of us or both of us have gone through divorce in the past, then we could really relate to our clients. And
Yeah.
we really speak the same language because we have gone through that experience.
That's right. Yep.
That's
Remember
awesome.
that show L.A. Law?
I remember the name, but I've never watched it.
Well, there was a guy on that. I think his name was Corbin Burnson. He was a handsome guy, and he was just a divorce lawyer, but he worked within a large law firm that did many different things. But he was also, I think he had been divorced. I'm not sure, but that just reminded me of that for some reason. But yeah, you want to just be known for something, and then you want to, and known for something that appeals to a lot of people, and that you know you can execute it, right? So how much more powerful is it when I come home at night and I'm going through a divorce and I see, Sasha and Keith, family law firm, serving the greater Raleigh area. Whoopee doo. No one cares.
Everybody.
When I'm driving home though and I see Sasha and Keith, are you a man that's been divorced? We got your back, or whatever,
Yeah.
That's going to speak to me. I need someone that's got my back. And we specialize in helping men get through divorces in the toughest time of their life and protecting their assets and rights or whatever. That's going to make me go, all right, don't forget those guys. Or let me write this down or whatever, right? As opposed to, oh, they're the nice family law firm. No one cares that you're family owned. No one gives a shit about your company at all. They don't give a shit about your law firm. They don't care about listening to it on social media unless it pertains to them and their problem.
Yeah. This is gold right there. And the reason why it's gold is many law firm owners do not want to narrowly focus on solving one big problem for their clients. They think that by focusing on one thing, they're eliminating all other opportunities. But the reality is that the riches are in the niches, as the saying goes. The more niche down you are, the more clients you're going to attract, because they will see you as the expert in this thing, and everybody else, they're not experts because they do 5 different things.
Yeah. And you can't do 5 different things, right?
You can, but not very well.
Not well. Yeah, that's right. It's like instead of, what is the saying? One sword strike 1,000 times instead of 1,000 different sword strikes.
Yep. 100%. A lot of gold in this conversation. I think if you're listening to this, chances are you operate your own law firm, and chances are you want to grow your law firm. If you do not have a strong mind on your team that is a CMO, you owe Keith a call. You owe yourself to make that call, because you got to talk to someone who can actually help you manage the growth of your law firm. And growth always comes from marketing. Because before you can make another buck, you need to get another client who pays you. And to get that client, you need to get an opportunity. And to get the opportunity, you need to get the lead. And the lead will come from marketing. So, Keith, how do people connect with you and have conversation with you about this? How you can help them maybe quadruple in 3 years flat?
Yeah, they can just visit my website at LEXGRO.com, and that's LEXGRO.com. And you can schedule a strategy session with me there. Or you can email me at Keith, Keith, at LEXGRO.com.
Awesome. Thanks for this very meaningful conversation. Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you, Sasha. And I'd like to have you on my podcast soon. Thank you so much.